is grab a piece of blank paper to put on the platen. Vocabulary word, platen. And the reason I do that is we spray adhesive on the platen when we're printing shirts. I don't want adhesive to touch my positive right now, so I'll just put the paper down. Just a piece of tape on the platen. That usually indicates where we put the neckline of the shirt. And then when you screen print on something on a shirt, it's usually a hand below the neck. Although yours is a little bit higher than that, Chris. But, so it's your call. So let's say I know this would be going on the left chest of a shirt. And so I would put this a hand down and then on the left chest. Then I bring my screen in. Mary, do you have a tape dispenser behind you? We grab 2 pieces of masking tape and about 3 inches long, 2 to 3 inches long. So really I'm not anywhere near ready to print, but what I want to do is use the tape as indicators of how much of the screen I have to coat. So with this particular image, I only need to coat that much. If I was printing this, obviously I'd have to coat more, right? So emulsion's like $90 for that gallon. So you really don't want to use a lot of it if you don't have to. Okay? So I know I'm just going to coat this much area. All right, so let's go back into the screen coating room. Pause it. I don't know, does it pause or does it start a new video?
It just starts a new video.
If you go ahead, if you need a new sheet of paper, that's any paper out there is fine. Remember, nobody likes to work with a sloppy screen printer. So what we're going to do is start with the coating applicator, or I might call it the coating tray. And what I really want you to know is there's a thick side to the coater and a thin side. Feel the difference between those? Okay. The thin side is the side that's going to be used to put the emulsion on. So you want to know the direction of that when you start. And you're going to be working, it's this edge right here more. Okay? Notice it's a huge difference. That's all scuzzy and this is clean. So I always start with that here because I'm right-handed. Any lefties? So this is all going to be backwards, Alexis. So we'll have to just work through it. Okay? And then I want to remind you again, you don't coat screens with these lights on. Just doing it for the video. So we're going to take the emulsion. And if you want to come close a little bit, it's kind of this funky blue stuff, and I think it has the consistency of like Elmer's glue. It kind of smells like it to me too. You don't really want to huff it. Might make you dizzy. No, I'm kidding. And you want to take and put an even amount into your screen coating applicator. So you want to move it all the way across, and then twist a little bit. And right there is why we bring the rag in here. So I want to get that rag wet and clean up that edge so that the bucket seals well and doesn't stick closed and you don't have to fight it to get it open. Now that I have the light on, I can see that people do a lousy job of that. So we're going to take the applicator and coat the screen. What you want to do when you're coating a screen, so I'm going to go where the tape indicates, you want to create a puddle in the front of your applicator on the screen. So I'm letting the emulsion run out. And then I'm going to tip it back, and I want you mentally to think I'm scraping the emulsion off rather than putting it on, because it'll go much better for you. You want to get it as thin as possible. So I'm going to push down on the screen with my right hand a little bit and pretend I'm scraping it off, and when I get up to where I know I need to stop, I'm flipping the applicator to try to get all that emulsion back in there. Okay? And then you got to flip the screen and repeat that. Something I missed last time is I'm holding the screen at about a 45-degree angle, and then that whole process repeats itself. I want to pour this out until I see a puddle in front of my applicator on the screen. And sometimes I have to tip it to get that puddle even. Tip it back, push down, drag up, and give it the flip. That sound bug, yeah? Oh, I've never had anybody have that before. That's like chalkboard nails and all that. hey, I'm done with the tape. I can take the tape off. You don't have to leave the tape on the screen. And just like we dried the screen back when we were stripping them or reclaiming them, we'll put this on the dryer, and in about 10 minutes, that'll be dry. So once I'm done with that, I'm going to take the emulsion that I didn't use and put it back into the bucket. And I would use this scraper that's hanging out on the sink and scrape that in there. But because this demo, I think I ruined this emulsion by doing it in the light, I'm not going to put it in the bucket, I'm going to put it down the sink. And this is an environmentally friendly emulsion too. So, again, I'll remind you, I would have put the emulsion back in the bucket, but I think this is ruined, that's why I didn't use very much. And then you got to do your dishes. Another reason you bring the gray rag with you is you want to clean up all the stuff you just used really well. So that would include the scraper, and then you want to rinse out the screen coater or applicator tray really, really well. You don't want any of that emulsion to build up in there, because it'll damage this as it won't work correctly. And then you're out about $40 for one of these. And then we always leave this sitting in the tray in the sink, tipped into the corner, and that way it'll dry out. You don't want to mix emulsion with water. So if you come in here and somebody's already used the applicator, it's a little wet, dry it out first. I'm really, really anal, controlling about my screens. Once you've coated a screen, you want it to sit in total darkness till you use it again. You don't ever want to coat a screen like today and then try to expose it tomorrow, because its ability to do a good job is diminished by at least 50%. You probably end up having to redo the whole process. So it's really good to coat the screen the same day and expose the screen the same day. And you want that to be in complete darkness, so we would turn out the lights and close the door. And then it's your responsibility, if you're coming in here to coat a screen and you notice the lights are out and the door is closed, you want to come over here and look and see if somebody's got a screen drying. And if they do, what you can do is put the screen in one of those drawers. It'll continue to dry, and yet you can turn on the lights, do your coating, and then you could get it back out and put it back on the dryer while yours was dry. That would be a nice thing for you. Alright, so that's good. The next demo we'll do is how to expose the screen with your positives so that you get the stencil. Okay?